the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the October 4th, 2021 Board of Aldermen meeting. I will start with minutes of the previous meetings, and I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve. It has been seconded. Is there any corrections, alterations, adjustments to the minutes? Hearing and seeing none, would all those in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Alderman Clifford?
Just on the subject, you can finish the vote. I just have something else I wanted to say.
Sure. Those opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Clifford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was wondering if we could observe a moment of silence for Charles Franzoni, who passed away. He was a former alderman, and had the pleasure of serving with him on this board, and he was a good man.
Absolutely. Could all just take a moment? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And thank you, Alderman Clifford. That brings us up first to Outside the Rail. Beloved, we have you speaking to the Leary Firefighters Foundation in a grant application.
I placed on your desk the Leary Firefighters Foundation flyer. One of my firefighters, Kyle Rutland, brought it to my attention that we had a pretty good chance of applying for this grant. Very short notice. The window was closing actually within weeks of hearing about it. So Kyle was good enough to prepare all the documents and get them ready for submission. Knowing that we were going to miss the submission date, talked to the mayor and the president and thought it was best that we submit the application. This application is to provide us with money for a training prop. If we're lucky enough to receive this, any money that we expend will be reimbursed directly to us. Why I bring it to your attention just to keep you aware of it, because typically if we are awarded this grant, it becomes quite a press conference, so to speak. Dennis Leary himself comes up. He had a cousin in Worcester that died, and a close friend. So he's always been very supportive of the fire service, and he collects money and then awards them for safety projects.
Thank you, Chief Lovett. Any questions for the Chief?
Good luck.
No, I hope so. We'll cross our fingers.
Awesome. Thank you, Chief Lovett.
Thank you.
And thank Firefighter Robillard for doing this work
You
too.
did a good job.
All right, we are still outside the rail. Do we have any members of the public who wish to address the board on matters not on the agenda? Seeing none, we will move along to communications from the mayor. Mayor Allaire.
Actually, tonight I think I'm all set.
Very good. All right, that brings us to additions and deletions to the agenda. Do we have any additions and deletions to the agenda? Hearing and seeing none, we will move right along to reports and letters from department heads and officials. Up first, Brennan Duffy, RRA, buyout funding, 2 Ravens games, page 1 of your packet.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So we had 3 memos that came from the RA for this meeting. The first one is a recommendation to award a BIAP grant to 2 Ravens games. This is an application here that came in, was reviewed by the RA, and our recommendation is to support this with a $4,000 grant. Applicant Ed Larson is currently renovating a property at 165 Woodstock Ave for the new retail space, and Mr. Larson is here today, and I don't know if we'll have any specific questions, or he might like the opportunity just to talk a little bit about his new store, but that is the recommendation coming from the RA.
Thank you, Brennan. Mr. Larson, I'd certainly invite you up to speak to what you'd like to do here.
I'm talking through a sock. So what we're doing is we're really trying to find a home for the gaming community in Rutland. We're trying to actually become a draw. We recently lost the convention up on the mountain to down south. And we're kind of trying to fill that void a little bit. I've been organizing events that are kid-focused and family-focused for years. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Killington Fairy Tale Fest up at the Sherburne Library. I'm one of the Vikings. And like I've done lots of work in this space. So what I'm trying to do is, like I said, build a home for it and give kids an option for something to do and adults for something to do that isn't just going out to the bar. We're really trying to focus on making Rutland a draw. I've reached out to the other game store that's downtown. We're friendly. I helped him set up that store. And there's another one that opened up on North Main, and we all do very different things. But if we can all, how do I say this, the rising tide that raises all ships, if we can make Rutland a destination, we can start to have, let me say that secret sauce, just to really grow the community here. So that's our goal, and hopefully we can get a little help with it. Other than that, any questions?
Alderman DePoy.
So 164 Woodstock, where exactly is that?
I'm between the Pizza Hut and McDonald's. If you know where Joanne Nails is, I'm just behind it.
Okay.
I share a parking lot. It used to be Vermont Home Theater. Across from the tech center and right next to Lutheran Church. Yeah, Hillside is my side street. My sign and my actual address is Woodstock Ave, but the entrance comes off Hillside.
I got you.
So if you guys know the Snow Day Sled and Hill, I'm at the bottom.
So I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second.
A motion to suspend the rules has been seconded. Would all those in favor please say aye?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
And I'll move for the approval of the 4,000 BIAP for 2 Ravens games.
Second.
All right, we have a motion that's been seconded. Is there any further discussion, debate, or questions for Ms. Larson? Alderman Russo.
It's just nice to hear Mr. Larson's presentation to us, the word destination. It's nice to become a destination or have a reason to be a destination. I'm glad that word was in there. We need to be a destination, and it sounds like a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the goal.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none, we have a motion that's been seconded to approve the $4,000 buyout grant for 2 Ravens games. Would all those in favor please say aye? Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. And before we let you go, do you have any anticipated opening date?
Wednesday.
Woo!
Oh, wow. I just left the store and I'm going back right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for your interest.
All right, so
That means he's going to have recorders too. And all I want to know is, are we going to have all the versions of Catan? So we need.
Don't you cheat?
I want
Space.
What else you got?
all right, Brennan, we are still with you. Referral request, VT Transportation Alternatives Program Grant.
Great. So the next piece on the agenda here is an initiative that I think everyone's a little familiar with. We've been talking over the last six or so months about trying to make some substantial renovations around the Amtrak station and clean up the northern section of that plaza a little bit. And Alderman Neary has, in his role as the transportation coordinator, has come up with a conceptual design that he will improve that area. We've talked a number of times about that. Andrew Sminisky, our planning administrator, has also been involved, and we have also tried to engage with the Brixmore folks to get them interested and excited about what the city might do and what they might be able to do in the future to improve that area. So right now, we thought it would make sense just to refer this to a committee, probably Community and Economic Development, and let Devin kind of provide the committee with some more details on the design, and then obviously the other piece of the grant is going to be application, which is due at the end of November, and looking at what we would apply for and a local match that will be required in this case. So that is the request.
All right. Second. Alderman Neary?
It probably makes sense to recuse myself from the vote, and I'll attend the meeting as a planning commission, not as a committee member, just to throw it out there.
All right, thank you. So Alderman Neary will be recusing himself. Alderman DePoy?
So motion to refer to Community and Economic Development.
All right, we have a motion to refer to Community Economic Development Committee, and it has been seconded. Would all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Brennan, we are still with you.
All right, third and last item on the agenda here. So as you recall from a month or so ago, we had an application for a BIAP forgivable loan from Early Horizons Learning Center, which is going to be opening up on Allen Street, and they have been putting a substantial amount of renovation into that and have looked at asking the city for a wastewater rate reduction incentive as well as the BIAP forgivable loan. So we have reviewed the application with the DPW folks. They do meet the minimum requirement there, which is 1,000 gallons a day of water usage. And the RRA board has recommended to the Board of Aldermen that they be approved for that. It will basically be a waiver of their allocation fee, and it will be a standard offer, which is a discounted rate over the next 5 years. At the end of the 5th year, they will come back onto the water bills as full paid. But it's a little assistance to help them as they try to open up their new business.
Good.
Suspend the rules.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rules has been seconded. Would all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries.
Just have a quick question. Did DPW give you a rough idea of like what that value would be?
Yep. So the value is about a little over $5,000. It's $4 per gallon of allocation fee, and they're looking at about 1,280 gallons per day.
Okay.
Yeah, motion to approve the WWRRI for Early Horizons Learning Center.
Second.
All right, we have a motion that has been seconded. Is there any further discussion, debate, or questions? Hearing and seeing none, would all those in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Brennan.
Thank you very much.
All right, this brings us next to Attorney Bloomer, who is not here this evening. Amendment to closing assumption and priority agreements, page 4. And I believe he has laid out a motion.
Motion to authorize the mayor to sign both documents entitled First Amendment.
Just to suspend the rules first.
Motion to suspend the rules. I'm
Second.
sorry, right.
Thank you.
Second.
I thought it had been indicating, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We have a motion to suspend the rules. It's been seconded. Would all those in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Alderman Garuso, would you like to finish that off?
The city attorney requests that we authorize the mayor to sign both documents entitled First Amendment to Closing Assumption and Priority Agreement in substantially the form presented regarding the housing authority in the city. Thank you.
Second.
Right, we have a motion that has been seconded. Is there any discussion and debate? Hearing and seeing none, would all those in favor please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, this brings us to reports of standing committees, of which we have none. Reports of select committees, we have none. Reports of representatives, we have none. Petitions, letters, miscellaneous communication, we have nothing. Board of Control Commissioners, we have nothing. Unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business to come before the board?
If I may, I think Alderman Garuso sent us an email about the consolidated issue.
Yes, thank you. I had spoken to the board chair just before we started, and he said he's been in contact with Consolidated. They had called me several times and said they'd get back to me, and I have not heard from them.
Okay.
That's what kind of precipitated this winter's coming, and there's, according to arborists and things, tree work that should be done before the snow flies. So we've chosen to give them a couple of weeks to show us some
Okay, good.
interest in this, so we're going to shut them down until we get this done.
Good, okay.
Thank you.
And just quickly on that subject, in the interest of keeping the board up to speed, have reached out to Consolidated to begin the initial conversations, put together the concerns that were raised from the municipality, from individual residents, and it sort of dove into the work that was happening between them and the CUD. So they've been made aware of the situation and what our concerns are. They're looking those over, and they do have every intention to meet with us. Hopefully more to come by the end of this week regarding when an actual meeting will be scheduled. But thank you for bringing that back to us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And Alderman Duploy.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I just wanted to shed some positive light on the work that Consolidated has been doing. I know that Sam, Alderman Grusso, had some problems over at his house, and you know, I think we're addressing that fairly well with those involved. But on a positive note, they were working right in front of my house all day on Friday, both on Stratton around the corner onto Killington Ave. And I was doing a bunch of clean out of my house, taking stuff to the dump using my pickup truck and my trailer. And they were very, very respectful and very courteous in helping me get out into traffic. I mean, as you can imagine, at that intersection, the lines of traffic were backed way up. They were very, very helpful with me when I had a load and was taking it out and getting back into my property. And, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, I know that there are some complaints that have come in about the traffic and maybe being backed up around the city, but I'm hoping, and I think we all are, that this project continues to come to its end here soon with a much better product here in the city. I mean, we've been talking about having this kind of service in the city for, I don't know, goes back to Tom McCauley was pushing it, I mean, 15 years ago. And finally, we're getting a fiber optics network system here in the city, which, you know, frankly brings us into the 21st century as far as upload speeds and everything else goes, having to do with this kind of technology. So I know that there's some negatives going on, but the positive is when this is finished, I think that a lot of us are going to have access to much better communication system. And I think that myself putting up with a delay here and there is going to be worth it in the end. And I just wanted to send a shout out for those guys that were working in there for Consolidated around my house all day on Friday. They really did do a good job from what I could see.
Very good. Thank you, Alderman Duploy.
I have
Alderman Grusso.
And Alderman Duploy, I saw them working. I was on Stratton Road a lot, and it make me proud because the very first thing I asked was, may I speak to a Consolidated supervisor who was not on the scene. These are subcontractors, and when I was called a four-letter word, whatever, just ask that question. That's all I asked. And to the subcontractor who was from Eustis Cable, he was the guy that's bullying, jamming, ripping. They're like the bulls in a china shop. What they did, they cut a gentleman's trees right to the ground and said they were the city. And that's their right to do that, and that's right from the arborist. They left wire on somebody's lawn. He almost hit it with a lawnmower. Consolidated's biggest mistake, they should have had one of their professionals there, because I've had very good relations with Consolidated, some very good conversations. But it's like they hire dirtbags as far as I'm concerned, because I've heard that there was our DPW commissioner tell you they almost had somebody run over by the flagging company, that these guys weren't paying attention. I believe it was on Lincoln Avenue. You'll have to ask him. Know another retired policeman that saw something happen up on Crescent Street. That's what I wanted, was a reset. Let's come in, let's sit down. I know you want to get it done. I know you're in a hurry. Everybody wants to get it done. The weather's flying, but that's why I wanted to put it in the general committee, but I'll honor the president's wishes. We'll give him another meeting. But we got to slow down here because somebody's going to get hurt. Not to mention the damage that was done that somebody should be responsible for. So they were. Consolidated guys have been very good. It's the people that they should have been there managing, and I can get into right-of-ways and all that stuff that they violated and don't even know what they were doing, but to go onto people's property and do what they did violates all the state laws, everything. So they're a fine company. It's just that they should have had better management on the job, and I just wanted to counter with that, but you're right, and I thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Grusso.
And if I may, I just think that was the point I was making, is that hopefully that reset is occurring and they're being much more courteous than what you got treated that time. So hopefully things are looking up, and you know, the end product is gonna be well worth, the hassles that we've gone through, so.
Thank you.
Aside from yours.
Alderman Gillum?
Not to confuse people at home, but there's two groups working here. You got the guys who are stringing it up, that's your contractor. But Consolidated's got all their trailers hooking the equipment up. So they're still out there, and they've been out on my street for the last 2 days in State Street. So there is two different groups working here. You guys are stringing it up, and then you've got Consolidated actually hooking it up. So, just so people know that.
Alderman Gillum's right, there's actually the flagging company, it's the third independent company. And just that's where the reset is. Let's get a rep from each company in here and just say, hey, you all need to sing off the same sheet of music. We got some problems that could happen. So that's all I wanted to do. We certainly didn't want to fight. I just wanted an understanding.
Appreciate that, Alderman Garuso.
Thank you.
All right. We are still under unfinished business. Is there any other unfinished business to come before the board? Hearing none, this takes us to miscellaneous motions, resolutions, and new business. I have one, Heartland has reached out. They appear to be making some positive progress on the project over at the former CSJ campus, and they would like to request a referral to Community and Economic Development Committee for the CBDG application and environmental review application.
So moved. I don't know what it is, so we will send it to the committee.
Looking for a second.
Second. I was waiting for someone. We'll give someone a shot.
Why?
So we have a motion that has been seconded to refer to Community and Economic Development Committee the CBDG application and environmental review application for the project that Heartland is working on at the CSJ campus, Alderman Talbot.
I was just curious why no one from Heartland is here to speak about it.
Right.
Yep. So to be fair to Heartland, I said that they may or may not attend, that where it would be important to be present would be in the committee.
Got it.
To present to us with the details of what they're hoping to do and what they're looking for from us.
What are those acronyms? Do you know?
Brennan, do you know the acronym off the top of your
Community
head?
Development Block Grant, CDBG application.
Yep.
And the other one is an environmental review.
Got it. Thank you.
Those two things, they talked to me a little bit about that, and actually wanted to initiate the process, and I told them that I wouldn't be comfortable doing that. I wanted to bring it to the Board of Aldermen's attention and have a discussion in committee about the whole process and what risk or the city might be under or not under initiating that process.
Got it.
And that's where it's.
Chairman.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, we're kind of like a co-applicant with them, kind of too, is a little.
Well, it would seem that in this process, we might even be more than a co-applicant, we might be the applicant.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I was not the only one doing it. And again, I think it needs to be discussed in detail with the committee.
Thank you. I'm glad we're referring to committees. I didn't know the acronyms or any, but I just, anything to refer, but that's quite an education. Thank you.
I'm just a little concerned that someone who is a large developer is coming to the city for a block grant and asking the city to be an applicant. I think it's great to talk about it in the committee, but I am really confused as to the need for that, so I'm voting against the motion to refer.
Okay. Alderman Clifford, I saw your hand.
Oh, good. That's pretty much what I was.
Alderman Dupuy.
So, Mr. Mayor, you are in favor of a referral to committee to talk more about it, or no? Or you
It's
want?
entirely up to the board. I was asked to open a portal into the state to initiate the process, and I was reluctant to do that because I really wasn't aware of what the legalities of or what the risk that the city would be put under by even starting that process. So a discussion was had with myself and the board president over the weekend. The board president talked to the people who are making the request, and the decision was made to bring it to your attention, and if you want to find out more about it, to refer to the committee.
And that's coming straight from Heartland, the
Yes.
request. I don't know, talk is cheap, I'll vote in favor. That's all right.
Alderman Garuso.
I agree with the referral because the original presentation was when we were meeting by Zoom, and there were some things in there that certainly stood out that questioned them. I don't want to see a Burlington Place happen here in Rutland, so it'd be nice to have them in the room with us. I don't think that's happened. We had a Zoom meeting with them, and they all asked us if we wanted to donate money after. That was a little fishy, but I look forward to going to that meeting. I'm not a member of the committee. Thank you.
Any other questions pertaining to the referral of the CBDG application and the environmental review application from Heartland Development Group? If not, those in favor of referring to Community Economic Development Committee, would you please say aye?
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Motion carries. All right, we're still under miscellaneous motions, resolutions, and new business. Is there anything else that people wish to bring before the board?
Have the agenda read backwards just to kill the time.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second. A motion to adjourn. It has been seconded. Would all those in favor please say aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? We stand adjourned.